First day of February 2022. I'm no Rodney Dangerfield, but I'm going back to school. I've been working in the film and television industry for about 20 years now. A little bit on and off during some times, lean times. But I've decided to get my captain's license. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you guys exactly what it takes to get a captain's license. Step one. So I have just applied for the TWIC, TWIC. First process in getting a captain's license. And hopefully I'll pass. I should. I have my global entry, so I'm sure I'm good. Well, I'm in a pretty nondescript suburban office building. And this is where I'm going to spend 2 nights per week plus 1 online class per week. And I chose this place because it was a recommendation of a friend of mine who also has his captain's license that doesn't captain for a living, but does it for fun. And that's where we are. I'm not going to film inside. Don't really want to put anybody in a situation that they're not comfortable with, so I'll report back in a little bit. Well, here it is. Nice Monday afternoon, and I'm studying. So I have one of my books here. I'm also watching TV, but not watching TV. I'm watching some of the videos that are included in the course. It's not a lot of studying, but you definitely have to spend the time doing it. I would say probably 3-4 hours per week on a 6-week course. I will probably spend a little more time as we get into charting and chart plotting and that kind of thing. Right now, it's just kind of a lot of the basics. Like right now, we're going through proper use of flares, EPIRBs, that kind of stuff, safety equipment. And so a lot of it is already stuff that I know. A lot of it is stuff that I'm already familiar with. But it's just kind of stuff that I'm learning, getting maybe a little additional information, so I don't have to necessarily study as hard as if it were something that were brand new to me, as some of the other things are going to be. I have started today tracking weather. So a couple times a day, track weather so I can look at how the barometric pressure can make changes to weather. I mean, certainly looking at my phone, is probably the best way to know what the weather's going to be. But you never know if you're going to be someplace that maybe you don't have good cell service. Well, here I am on my computer, and I am applying to test for the Marine Radio Certificate from the FCC. So this is another thing that you need if you're going to drive anything bigger than a 6-pack. A 6-pack would be just 6 passengers. You're limited to 6 passengers. I am going for my master's, which means that I can take more than 6 people. So in order to have that license, I need to also have the FCC license saying that I can operate the radio. So there's a basic exam that everyone who's getting any sort of FCC license has to take. It's like 24 questions. And then there is the Marine exam. I think it's like 100 questions. So I am now signing up with Einart, which is a company that does the testing for the FCC. I had to go to the FCC and get an FRN number. That's kind of like your social security number for the FCC. And then I use that to submit to Einart to do the testing. I don't really have a good large space to use my practice map here. One of the things we have to do is charting practice. So got this table out back. A little chilly today. It's in the 30s and it's cloudy. But I got my little buddy heater hooked up, and we're gonna do some charting practice. Well, I took the first 2 of 4 tests. This is to get my 6-pack, which basically I can take 6 passengers. I'm going to then continue the class to try to get my master's, which will allow me to take more people. 2 nights ago, I took the first 2 tests. One of them was basically the navigational rules of the road. On that test, you have to get a 90%, which is out of 50 questions. That means you have to get 45 questions right. I got 43. I actually failed. Most of the people in my class thought I would ace it. In fact, I thought I would do really well on it. But as it turns out, there were some things that I hadn't learned. I thought I knew, but I just hadn't learned. So the other test I did fine, no problem. Tonight, I'm taking 2 more tests. One would be charting, which I've been practicing today, and then also kind of deck general, firefighting, that kind of thing. All about ATONs and stuff like that. That's, ways that we navigate along the water in terms of signs and buoys and that kind of thing. But I'm also going to retake the test that I failed. And, I'm disappointed in myself. I came home after class and told my wife that I had failed, and she was pretty surprised. I mean, she knew that I had been studying, she knew that I had been working, but I think that test, even though I knew that was the one I needed to do the best on, I guess I felt confident in knowing a lot of that because I've been boating for 14 years. But what happened was I didn't know a lot of the signals, especially in fog. I mean, I don't really go out in fog. If it's foggy, we just say, no, forget it. I guess I shouldn't say that if you've seen the Great Loop going down the rivers and us traveling in fog for the first couple of hours a day. But try not to go out in fog. Anyway, I messed up on a lot of the signals and a couple of the definitions. So I missed it by 2 questions. And I've been studying for the last couple of days. I feel confident that I'm going to do much better on that test tonight. So I'll actually be taking 3 tests tonight. And I'm still working on the charting. I don't feel 100% on charting, set and drift, and figuring out the course based upon what the set and drift is if you're leaving from some point. I just did a practice problem on the chart there, and I was a little bit off. Not much, but a little bit. Enough that, you'd still be able to find your destination. But I have about 2 more hours before I leave for class, and I'm going to continue studying, and hopefully things will go well tonight. I did it! I passed my OUPV, also known as a 6-pack. So I have passed all 4 exams, including the one that I failed the first time. Very happy. Now I have a couple of more weeks of class to get my master's, so the upgrade from the 6-pack to my master's. I'm a little disappointed because I've gone through everything with my instructor, and I was really hoping I'd be able to get a little bit higher tonnage rating, because there are so many different tiers of tonnage that you can have, and boats at different tonnage require different safety things, and over 100 tons you get into a whole mess of stuff, right? My goal isn't to drive a cruise ship. So I don't necessarily care to have anything over 100 tons, but I was hoping I could maybe get my 100-ton. Unfortunately, I don't have enough experience driving big boats. I like big boats, and I cannot lie, but this is one of the biggest boats I've ever driven. Obviously, if you've seen the trip down to Florida, that was a 70-footer, and I've driven some other, bigger ones too, but my neighbor's 60-footer, and I have another neighbor with a 63-footer that I've driven for many, many hours, but I need something like 360 more days or something like that to be able to get that 100-ton. I'm going to work on that over the next couple of years, and hopefully I'll be able to upgrade at some point. But I still am happy with the license I have for most of what I've been planning on doing. That's good. It's all I need. 25 tons is a pretty good sized boat. And it's not tonnage of, like, you weigh the boat on a scale. It's the amount of water that the boat displaces. So there's a whole calculation for that and everything. But now it's on to the master's class. So I have one more class to go, and then we test for me to get my master's. But I am now sending my application into the regional center. And okay, 2 emails sent to the Coast Guard. Once they receive it, they can start to process it. Once I'm done with school next week, they will send in the certificate to prove that I did it and I've passed the tests. I did it. Passed my master's examination as well, and I have submitted everything to the Coast Guard. I should be receiving my actual captain's license in the next 7 to 12 weeks. It is currently the very end of March, so my hope is that I will have it by end of May. That would be able to, that would give me a little more time to get some experience this summer. And I'm going to hopefully take you guys on some adventures, showing what it's like to start being a captain. And I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. Am I going to be just taking, bachelorette parties out to the Playpen in Chicago and letting them hang out? Am I going to be driving a tour boat? I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to end up, but I'm pretty excited. It's a pretty big career change for me, but I'm kind of retiring from my career in the film and television industry and moving on to the boating industry. So what's the cost? You can see here the TWIC, the FCC license, the Coast Guard application fee, first aid course, med evaluation, and drug screening. Those are all fairly low costs, and then Chicago Maritime School was about $1,500. Wasn't exactly that, but it was right around there. So, I'm in for about $2,200, $2,300. That doesn't include driving an hour to the suburbs twice a week and back. But as you can see, I'm in for about $2,300, and I don't think that's too bad. Hopefully I can make that back pretty quickly, and I think, according to some of the other captains around town that I've talked to, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. So thanks very much for watching. Let me know if you guys have questions. Please feel free to put them in the comments. I do highly recommend Chicago Maritime Academy. That's where I took my course. So if you're in the area, they're a great spot. And then there are places just like it, all around the country too. Thanks again. Really appreciate you guys like and subscribe.